Okay, so welcome back to another day of me working on a game and tool thing that no one watches. Alright. Okay, I want to block out a new level and tile. Wait, no, I want tile map player. This is deprecated. Upload, godot icon. Judy. Let's do just a small bit that's like forests. Still. And then we start with the rest of the level, which I think I'm gonna go with a little bit more verticality and moving platforms. Entrance or something. I don't know. Hmm. Right, what's the player senpai? No, not test player. Absolutely not the test player. Okay. 4 blocks is the height. Okay. So let's change our grid size to be pair snap every primary long. Um, wrong way. Okay. With every primary line at 5, at 4, it helps a lot. I know. Okay, I can make that jump, I can go that way, or whatever way. Mm-hmm. Do I want stairs? Probably not. How wide do I want this level? Do I want to go on and on, or do I want to go up, or what? What are wizard levels usually designed as? Could be a castle too. Hmm. Decent number of them are vertical. So I'm going to the ground. Oh yeah, this is way better. Interesting shape. A lot of them are towers. This is pretty common, I think, in some places. Floating islands. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Half and half. Okay. Oh no, that's just creative background usage. Nice usage of freaking looks 3D in a 2D game. They literally have two shades of gray. Two shades for that. Could just be colorful. Impressive building. You know, I've decided I'm just gonna look at Terraria for references because there's so many good ones. A tower that encapsulates the moon or something. What could I fit as a MacGuffin? Mm-hmm. What? Who builds this stuff? Have like a creature or something floating nearby. I don't know, man. What? What is special about my wizard? Or wizards? Wizards schools, actually. I like schools. I really should have spelled Terraria better. That's pretty good. Wizards are scholars and educators would make the most sense in a world that has magic because they are the scholars, educators, and learners. Oh, interesting. That's nice little bubble stuff. This really gets like ideas flowing a lot better. What is this supposed to be? That's not in Terraria. Okay, so let me find like that one tower that was attached to another tower in like a very strange way. Sure, I'm going to copy URL and go with reference for this. Mm, spelling this meme's name is not exactly the easiest thing. That is not the URL because I copied the word trivia. Right. Um, Tower attached by chains, bracket, space. Just hold on, I want this part, right? Okay. Yes. A grading area. That seems reasonable. That's a cool tree. I think I'll probably grab that as a reference still. Where did it go? The one that said school grounds. I lost it. Okay. Actually, I'll use this one. Wait, no! No! I just want, like, the image address. Wow. No. Okay, that's just not. That's really lame. Just looking for it. Yep. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Uh, that is a Zeppelin? Also, this motor should be outside of the actual balloon. What the? Unless it's like on the side, which I think that's fair. It is implied a little bit in front of. Neat tower. Or say not tower, neat balloon, and that's an interesting tower. That is pretty cool. This looks a little modded, maybe. Angled bookshelf. I don't think that exists normally in Terraria. I like this. This is cool. These are mostly towers, but it's like, okay. Let's just find a school. Oh man, schools are very uninteresting from the outside, I guess. I guess they are more of a practical place than a and Royal School. Really? Really? It depends on the building shape, man. I don't know. That looks more like a school building, or, I guess. Let me just see. Japan School. They put the tree in front to obscure the square building. Okay, let's see Russia. Why are schools so blocky? The only interesting kinds of things are sometimes the roofs with like basic triangles. Oh well. Okay, let's go add a label. Let's move it like here. Um, a background of a, a school that is not too far out from the city. Like realistically, could we technically place a school in a random place and call it a private school? I don't know. Uh, background of a school. Background of a school that spans a small bit until the tower. Then the tower can be entered. Also, the background, a close background of a school, and a far background. That is. Entered. Player can go on roof. So let's go with like, okay, we put a pole, or actually no, we put like a block in the air. Here, we put a grapple point here, and then we can do two parts, which is the roof here, so like, yeah, yeah, we'll work with these shapes. And then these gaps can just follow you down in there. And then there's also just like a flat line that spans a decent distance. Okay, we go like more reasonable on the roofs. And then there needs to be some gaps. We'll put a flat building roof. Mm-hmm. I got one on my touchpad. There's that smoothie. And a cold drink just condenses all the water out of the air. Um, this needs a grapple point for sure, which could be like a lamppost. I'll put one of those, a label. Um, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. I go like this, and then go backslash, then oh yeah, I have a metal mouse button. I should be using that. Yeah. Okay. And then let's do something really simple. Um, these 2 points meet in the following way. This is just a shortcut. And then this goes all the way over, eventually comes up. We eventually get here. The place can be mostly flat, and it should be on the lower line. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Just inside or outside of the tower? This rectangle here is not clear. Okay. I want this to be a bit of a shortcut. What can I have? I can have, based on the towers, like, one of them has a chain that goes basically straight diagonally like this. And then what I could do is just place the bottom floor like this, add some grapple points here, until they get to here. And then they can go up over to here, where this will just have a window in. And then this would be like down here, and down here. Actually, let's go like a little bit more down here. Okay. Something like that. Yeah. So we got simply walks into a town, gets into the tower, and sneaks in, I guess. Okay. I could put like a small crystal here. Um, use the line tool to do this better. Here. Wait, really? Okay, from here, 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 here. I definitely think crystals will be considered a power source or something. Simple. Crystals are lopsided sometimes. Okay. Technically, you shouldn't be able to severely interact with this. Also, I think I should just move a good chunk of this over. Don't just one time. Okay. Let me erase a good chunk of this too. And redo this ground. So let's pick this point here. I'll mark with blue. And then I'll pick, I think this point is on the right line. Yeah, okay. So then we use the ruler tool, which I should be using M for, right? And Q for, right. So from the right side, I can't see it. From the right side to the left side is 109 units? That's 110. So halfway from that will be 55 M. 5. That's from left side to 110 inclusive or 108. I'll just put a tile commit here, actually. I'll put 2. Let's see. That's 56 there, 54 there, so it should be off. 1 if I want it centered. So here, okay, so that should be centered. Now, the terrain below should be absolutely not centered at all, or even. But let's, like, get something. How far down do I want this? Let's go and just randomly pick, like, here. Not aligned. Okay, and then we'll draw with the pencil tool from here to there. That is terrible control, okay. And part of it is because I want this to look like mostly organic. Organic, but not like circular. Okay. And then we take everything above this, move it over, so that it's a little more centered. Come on. Okay. Then we adjust the crystal with this specifically. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna draw a few more lines, I think. Yeah. So I feel like it's normal. Random hole? Maybe. Water? Who knows? Is it a pool? Could be. But I don't want to deal with water interactions, so I'm gonna keep it like a dirt pool filled with nothing but the ground. Okay. Should this be higher? It probably should be higher. Especially if like there's a chain to it. That would be the entire node. I'm not trying to move the entire node. Uh, can I move it across the grid in a line? Straight line? Well, right? That look lined middle. Hmm. I think it's just too high, actually. Let's go with somewhere in between, like there. And if we go with a chain like this, and a chain like this, and probably one from the bottom too. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so This will be considered ground. No, wait, no, I'm not trying to erase it. Line tool. This will be considered ground for the most part. Here. Okay. Up until here. Where down here, we have to grapple. Mhm. And those could be like a tree branch. This could be like a closed bridge gate or something. Actually, I wouldn't be opposed to filling this area with water if we lock it off as well. Kill tool. God, we can escapes. Okay, no. Um, there, there. Kill tool. I ain't against that. Continue the line with the chains. Should extend. They should go out filterable. Okay. That's fine. And I'll consider this like floor the entire way down. Okay. That's floor. Because if there's no water here, it's like, what's the safety feature in case the building collapse, which taking the MacGuffin could do. So I'll add that as a label, as like a note. Label, move here. If the entire floating island island falls, then the water is a safety feature. A bit. Okay, I might add a child node, node 2D, and then just call this label folder. Okay. A little bit. feature a bit with very big brains on either side to prevent a flood a little. Okay, that part's not gonna be seen. This stuff is like not necessary entirely. Because I care, I will. Okay. Cool. Cool. Feel this hold. Ready. Okay. And this would be support for specifically a tower. So let's go ahead and build a tower shape. Is that really the best I can do? Oh my goodness, it's awful. I think I might need wider space to feel comfortable with this, because this is very narrow. Now, let me put a block of like dirt here. If that's your foundation, how big is this? 60 units, 67 units. Moving sideways, 67 units. Does it feel small walking from side to side? Feels a little small, but not too small. Okay, let me just rake this off entirely, move it over, and then just put a child node label, move here. Rename this gap explained. Yep. This gap is here because the two parts need to be done independently and are not sized well yet. This all should be under here. There. Alright. Okay. For the draft logging. Okay. Giving myself a bigger foundation. This level can be a lot bigger because I actually have more enemy variety. So let's build um, not all of it's going to be used, so wall. Okay. Then let's look at some of those references that we grabbed. I don't want just a staircase. I forgot that this hides Godot. And then, oh, they opened a new window. So this is only a staircase, which the center could be. Do we put a staircase in the center? That feels stupid for the platforming sections, because then you don't have anything to platform on. Um, or anything to platform up, realistically. I could go inside and outside of the tower repeatedly, which might be a little bit more interesting. So, like, yeah, through some part of the staircase that makes sense, or like there's a bunch of enemies that you can see or something. I don't know. What do you do? Okay. There could be more than one elevator. They could be magic restricted. Oh wait, no. If it's a magic tower, an elevator could exist. And that would also identify like moving platforms being reasonable. Yeah, okay. So let's do like a few elevators. Add child node label, move here. As it's a magic tower, elevators can make sense, and that can also be part of the platforming. Do we put an elevator conductor? Maybe an elevator conductor too. Okay. So I need a small legend. Add node here, label call it legend. Okay. Water. Moving platform. Walls and floor. Okay. Tile map. We got walls and floor. We got water. And then for moving platform, we'll go with this, I guess, in the shape of an arrow. In the minimum possible way I can. Moving platforms, start direction. Okay. Because it would make sense for people to be going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Okay, so where is a reasonable place to put the elevators? Midway through the tower? Do they build the tower stair spiral all the way outside? Or is there a central column in the center with the staircase? And then there's elevators around that. Um, how does one simply build a tower like this? Okay, let me think from my understanding of loads from school how some of this stuff is built. And I'll try to draw what I can, or my understanding a little bit. So we're gonna have some support columns a fixed distance away from each other, I think. These are going to carry a specific amount of weight based on the thickness. The central columns need to be thicker unless there's more of them. Than the outside walls, because the outside walls have less loading. Okay. If we have a floor and a column, all of the weight above is supported by the column below. So the column below, being bigger, makes sense than the column above. Same with this stuff here. Because I'm gonna mark this. Okay. Right, so that's what we can do. And then as we go higher up, there's less loading, so that these columns can be a little thinner, even though they don't have to be. Every floor would make sense to pass through, and then there can be holes for like stairs or viewing. Let me see if I can just find. So, like, let's look at this tower, kind of. It's technically got a support pillar in the center where everything goes around. The stairs are attached to the walls, supposedly, or the center pillar. We can technically see concrete pillar there. That would probably be more of the load-bearing stuff. Floating island, cosmetic floating island. And then this stuff, it expands from the pillar, but like the load distribution would eventually funnel itself down to that column or pillar, excluding the glass. Okay. But this is like a small example. I'm trying to build a massive one. Here, again, central wood pillar, pillar here, pillar here. We can't see the inside of this one, so we don't actually know what it looks like, but you can see there's a pillar here in the center, and then support beams here. This one, let's say before it breaks, the elevator and staircase section are both next to each other. Oh yeah, there's an imaginary third dimension I can put in. Right, I forgot about that. Support pillar, support pillar, support pillar, support pillar. It's just a giant column. Is there no good way to, like, move it? Oh yeah, I can just do this. Okay. Okay, so I like the idea of a central column a little bit. And then you can just go around that column. It would be a background column. Would definitely be a background column. And then while going up the tower, you're basically spiraling it, but you're not using a staircase, which there would be. Where would it make sense to put staircases? On both sides of the tower might make sense. There's 3 strawberries just still frozen in it. That's what happens when you don't blend it long enough. Only I had a way to grab the strawberries easily, like my hand. Oh, that is cold. I could do semi-solid platforms too, as well. That doesn't seem like a terrible idea, does it? Um, What kind of semi-solid platform makes sense? Going around a standing platform. If it like ends off at somewhere without a wall, and then you can just jump onto it. Mm, I think stairs and elevators, like here. I am using the block tool. That's why that's terrible. Not an eraser. No, not a selection either. Um, so like stairs like this. Let me do that better. Yeah, stairs like this. Work enough as a background element, plus the arrow moving platform here, I think makes a decent amount of sense. Right? Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Cool and all. I'm gonna go redo the arrow because I don't want to deal with the mirroring. Right now it doesn't. Oh, this. What? I don't know. Um. So if that's like an elevator. Instead of being a moving platform, it could be like, okay, you go up this high to get to the next area that's like less exposed to people and more exposed to secrets and the ability to sneak in. Because you are kind of trying to sneak in a little bit. Hmm. What are we fighting if we're actually just sneaking around? Mhm. I think every other floor line might make sense. Let's do. Okay. That makes sense for like a floor. Gives enough space technically if we wanted to add a little bit in between. I'd say like this many tiles would be if we wanted to put something a little roofy or hiding or just not visible. Actually, every three? Would that be better? Would every three be better? How does that feel? Because then it's like, okay, from here to here I have to jump 3 times the player height to get up. Which I don't know. Hmm. Semi-solid platforms would be very helpful, I think. Anything magically floating in the area? Could I do that? I don't know. I could put a guy just like painting. Hmm. This is hard. How do you design a spiral level that makes any sense? Let me. A staircase. Spiral loop games. No. 2D spiral level design. Okay, let me remove change the word to vertical. Hmm. Could just draw a random path and try to figure out how to fit it in. Okay, let me just try that. Let me just try drawing random lines starting from um do I want a loop-de-loop? I don't know. Do I have anything that will allow for loop-de-loop? Some of my other games have got a door working. Um, I don't know how I like this yet, because I don't actually know if I could do that. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom for a moment. Maybe have some ideas when I come back. Alright, I remembered. I could just make more than one tower. That's probably why I made this foundation. It's so massive. Um, right, one tower in the center. That's on the eraser tool. One tower in the center. And a tower that's like adjacent here or something. And another one that's also adjacent here. Where they just like go and crisscross into each other in different ways, at least in the 2D section. So let's do something with that. Um, Unique buildings in real life. I want something with some realisticness. This is real. This seems unlikely. Um, no. Yeah, this seems reasonable. Maybe possible. I could see that existing. Uh, who would build this and why? This exists. Oh wait, we're working with Wither Tower logic. Never mind. I don't need to think of anything realistic. It just needs to work in the design a little bit. So okay, first off, let's clean this up. Where's the legend? Oh, this is not even in a good spot anymore. Uh, add to this player path. Okay. The dial map, water. I said water, floor, and walls, player path, and then the arrows. Player path after I erase everything. Okay, so E pencils. Okay, so player starts here, starting point. Um, goes in, climbs up a little bit, loops around, climbs out, out, farther, in, again, out again, up, in. So let me make that like not as much vertical. Okay, erase the other pass a little bit. Okay, and then closer at the center, we'll get like that's on eraser stuff. We'll go up a bit more here, and then we'll go up, over, boss fight or something, and then just write boss. Sure. Yeah. Now let's build this. We'll add that way. Okay. Let's do it here. I think that makes more sense. because the tower needs to be attached out, and then like it connects again at a higher floor. What this would mean is I need to take a selection of the crystal, not erase it, just select it. Okay. Put crystal here, crystal here, crystal here. Actually, let's do it here. Yeah, let's go in the middle actually instead. So let's go up in this small space, connect back into the tower, then go in there. Okay. Okay. Right, does that feel better? And then instead of using the stairs, they use a semi-solid platform. It could be one way, it could be not one way, I don't know. Or moving platforms, those work too. Especially if they're coming in on like the second floor, they jump on the elevator. Let me realign that with the crystal. Right, so then if I draw tower cap, sorry, tower cap, tower cap, um, tower cap, seems fine there, as well as like a smaller tower cap here. Feels a bit symmetrical. I'm moving this way higher. Up we go. Oh, come on. It's not easy to grab these. Up you go. Actually, tower cap. And then we will go back to the ruler tool. I think it's reasonable for there to be a line here, here, here. Move this text, with boss text in there. Fits perfectly. Awesome. Put a tower here. Mm-hmm. Operate this index. That's better. First, that's just way too big. Just, just all of it. There we go. Those look like S's. That's slightly better as an O, but it really should have better pixel spacing. I could put a tower that's just not necessary here. Wrong, wrong tile. My drink is empty, but there's something. Alright. With that, sure. Okay. So then, as this is basically our foundation, let's start with the floor level, then the upper floor level, which would make sense to be somewhere starting. I don't want it to go all the way out. I want there to actually be like some space from the wall. Like, let's go vertical wall here. And equivalent spacing. The blocks are not symmetrical. Okay. More on one side, more on the other side. Yeah, okay, that's more symmetrical. Move it over to this primary line, actually. Wait, no, let's do it on the other side of the primary line. This will be the main tower. All the way up on that side of the primary line. Okay. That is the primary line of the full block. Yeah, okay. Same thing here. As straight as we can go. Okay. Alright. Okay. That's prior lines. We'll refine the path as we go. Okay. The entrance has to exist for the most part. Okay. Okay. Um, so what do we want? Mm, right now we've got fireball, spike, which might be ice, laser, which could be light. There could be a few that are not like main elements that people study or whatnot. I don't know. Okay, let's go through here, go up in the middle, and continue. What would make sense for like if this was genuinely a vertical school, library, and educational institution? What would make sense for the verticality? Would you want living spaces near the top or the bottom? Bottom would be easier for evacuations from a floating island. I think that makes more sense for living spaces would be near the bottom. But probably not the first floor. The first floor would be like reception. Add child node label. Name this power vertical layout. And then at the bottom would be reception. Living spaces. Oh, sorry. Also living space. Wait a second. In a multi-use vertical building, how are the layers divided? Let's say the building is a school, living space, and library with a gym. And what else? Classrooms and offices, as well as a small medical spot. And I mean a very tall building. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. General / public high traffic uses go at the bottom. Private restricted goes to the top. One building does it all. Retail. Offices 365 in Manhattan. I don't understand this building. Hmm. What is that article you mentioned? I want to read it. Read the source. Mixed-use development in high rise. Mm, built right over a station. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Wow. That would give use case to that basin at the bottom, other than just a safety feature, but also like a transport port. Ooh, interesting. The flood and can be multi-used as a port for wizard shopping and big shipments. It's really freaking cool. What an idea. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. What message am I receiving at this time? And from what app? As I have not heard that notification before. Was it Brightspace? The thing I wanted to update on is possibly updated. Phone, please stop not doing the thing you're supposed to do properly. Has my grade finally been updated? Upstairs broken. Okay. Alright, do we have like a layer? Oh, this is perfect. Um, Probably not museum. Department store, parking. Okay, so public spaces, parking and transport. Uh, we're gonna skip the museum. Hotel offices, which is offices, I guess. School, also clinic. Oh, it actually has like sub things that I would put there. Okay. Hotel. I'll just say living spaces, and yeah, okay. And that's for this building specifically. This one's split up as well. This one doesn't say anything. It's got a bunch of references. Okay, so based off of this building, so I'm going to take this article and I'm going to put in my references. Um, mixed use buildings. Go to page 5. Simply because it is an interesting building. All right. Let's go to here. Where is the tower vertical layout? Okay, so reception and transport, living spaces, um, public spaces, reception, transport. Below that, we can put gym, parking. Reception, transport, public spacing, gym. Oh, we can't do that because of the lack of literal space to do that. So we want reception and boat transport, public spaces. No, not just boat transport, any type of transport. Okay. Reception and transport, public spaces, the school, and lobby, school, and school stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then because I have the ability to horizontally break out some of these things, I could identify one of these as like a classroom, and then they could be classrooms and like the medical vertical clinic. Top tower, special use. Um, vertical tower layout. Okay, so Reception and transport, public spaces, the school and school stuff, excluding gym. Excluding gym slash magic space. Then again, magic and magic soundproofing could exist. But no, it's like it goes through the buildings. I'll put here a gym space or something. Gym. Because not all of it has to be fully vertical. There could be like some grounded space. Okay. And so you want to get past reception, go up a floor, like most of this is publicly available. And then eventually you start getting into the parts where you're actually restricted. So then we can start placing enemies along this path, which in the past I identified as this block. So I'll identify it as this block. Sure. There's legend. Here it is. Okay. And the tower. This block. So I'll start placing enemies here, here, here. This vertical section is definitely only platforming. Place an enemy here, here, here. Go up, here, 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 here. Put two here. Okay. Since this is more of a school, and some people might not recognize you as a student, um, could be seen as no. If it's just like regular stuff here. Walk in, it's like the lobby reception. Um, there's not much here happening. You can go here, go here. It's just like normal going up and stuff. School restaurant here. Reception, transport, public spaces here at this point. Mm. Let me just tile out some of the floor then. Yes, for the path so far. Let me verify I did this right, actually. If the floor is here and the other floor is here, I put my player here. Yeah, okay. That's verified. Okay, that's fine. Okay. It has gotten close to 5, so I won't block it off, I'll leave it like that, but you're supposed to go up here. Gives you the ability to explore. Go here, take the elevator. So I want to do this icon, this one. I think here is good, but like the main path, you have to go left, which I might trick people into doing because a lot of people are like, go right is the instinct. Um, yeah, that's fine. Uh-huh. And so you'll have a space here to walk on. Leave 3 hole. Okay. Get to walk out here. We'll make a few stairs that you're not using because you just decide to jump. To line up here. Let's just go that way. The stairs are a background element. You don't use them. Okay. Wee. I didn't use the grapple tool yet. Jump in through the window or something. Do I? I'll put some platforms over. I'm being applauded. Okay, I think that's fine for now. Um, I'll put this here as like a platform section. And this is like the line to the elevator. Okay, I'll save that for now. We'll leave it there. See you tomorrow. Or not, actually. I'm going to play some Street Fighter. Hopefully. And then maybe try some note taking there, the event. Uh, Maybe ask some questions. Another thing I could do is just stream at a different time tomorrow. Or is it after tomorrow? I forget. It's sometime this weekend. I think it's tomorrow. No, last one. Take care. I hope we learned something about like living spaces and